Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here from Cult Classics and Cult Following, and today we're going to review episode 1 of Loki. So we got to watch the first episode of the new Disney Plus show Loki, which debuts this week on Disney Plus streaming service. Great service, by the way. If you're a Marvel fan, you really should get it. WandaVision was a really good show. We really enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And now we are on our third original Disney Plus Marvel show, Loki, starring Tom Hiddleston reprising his role as Loki from the Marvel Universe movies, but specifically, he is playing Loki from Marvel's Avengers Endgame, the end of the film where they're doing the big time heist and stealing the Tesseract goes awry, and Loki ends up with the Tesseract and teleports out of there. This is literally exactly where the show picks up. And rather than make his great escape, Loki ends up being captured by a new group, which we've never seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe before. They are called the Time Variance Authority, the TVA. And most of episode 1 of Loki is made up of Loki acclimating to his new position within the TVA, which the TVA is sort of a cross between hell in the Beetlejuice movies and a sort of office-like purgatory. We find out a lot about the TVA. Basically, we find out through a really cool animated sequence that pays a lot of homage to Jack Kirby's artwork, that there is an unbroken sacred timeline, and the TVA's job is to make sure that that timeline is maintained and branches are cut off before they redline, thus creating a multiverse. And that's kind of the underlying point in this show. There's probably going to be a big tie-in to Multiverse of Madness or Quantum Mania, because the TVA's specific job is to prevent a multiverse war, which we learned in this episode there has been before. So there has been a multiverse in Marvel, and right now there is not a multiverse, but clearly laying the seeds for there to be a multiverse in Marvel. Kind of interesting. Loki's about to be essentially destroyed for his ongoing efforts to thwart the sacred timeline, when a TVA agent named Mobius, who's played by Owen Wilson, intervenes on Loki's behalf and tries to make him see that maybe there's a place for him. And it's interesting because this is Tom Hiddleston channeling Loki from, the end of Avengers. This is like the apex of Loki's, arrogance and belief that he has this grand destiny, that he's seized with glorious purpose. And, Owen Wilson's Mobius is basically there to tell him, well, maybe you don't have such a glorious purpose, Loki, kind of scenario. That, he might just be a guy, and he's not that great at being this God of Mischief he sees himself as being. And by the end of the episode, we basically see that Loki, through certain plot happenings, comes to believe that perhaps he's not all that in a bag of chips, and Mobius comes to tell him that there's a place for him in the TVA because they need someone like him to hunt down the greatest threat the TVA has ever met, which is another Loki variant. So that's interesting. It's an interesting premise for the first episode. Like I said, I don't really want to spoil a lot of the main happenings. It's kind of like the gist of the first episode. Basically, this episode is a platform for Tom Hiddleston to go about and really show us why he made this character Loki the kind of character that could carry their own TV show. You know, he goes to the whole range of comedy, drama, sadness, anger, you know, and he plays really well off of Owen Wilson, actually, who's basically playing a straight man to Loki's, you know, unhinged, wacky self, in a manner of saying. He's, you know, they banter well. This is very much an Owen Wilson, Jackie Chan situation. Is that right? Yeah, that kind of thing. Except now, you know, now Owen Wilson is the straight man, you know, or a Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker situation, you know. But realistically, I did enjoy the show. We'll also have a review of episode 2 up next week, but yeah, episode 2 sets up a lot of interesting things. This is a good setup for episode 2, but episode 2 is where big things start to happen. And I also have my own theories about Owen Wilson's Mobius that I'll probably do a video on later. But yeah, I will say, check out Loki. It's a really fun show. The art direction and the production design is top notch. You know, WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier clearly had a big budget, you know, but I feel like this really feels like a, you know, if you're going to say, oh, well, I mean, that felt like Marvel, but a TV show. This feels like Marvel, you know, and it's just like, oh, yeah, why haven't we seen these other characters pop up in an MCU show, even in, you know, any, you know, purpose, you know, any other role. It just feels like it's part of the bigger MCU, you know, and yeah, just the performances are solid. The time cops are great. And it deals with a lot of issues of power that, you know, really put Loki into perspective. Like, oh shit, this thing I thought was going to be like this big answer, it's just somebody else's like nothing, you know. But yeah, all I can say is check out Loki. Really great show. Debuts this week. And we'll have reviews every week. So yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, until next time, guys, this is your pal Victor saying check out Loki on Disney Plus and check out Cool Classics for more cool reviews. Until then, later.